So you are considering purchasing a Chromebook. That's great. Love to give you some things to consider as you decide which Chromebook will be right for your classroom. There's really three key considerations to keep in mind when you're looking at purchasing a Chromebook. Whether this is for yourself, maybe you want an extra device to carry around with you. Perhaps you're helping your school select a Chromebook for your one-to-one Chromebook program. Really three things that you want to think about, and kind of break them down here for you, show you a couple devices. The first is going to be screen size, larger screen, smaller screen. There's a few factors to consider there. Closely associated with that is you need to decide if you wish to invest in touch screen devices. That'll be your second consideration. Thirdly, you'll want to consider durability. Now, this is an interesting one because durable devices or devices with additional bumpers, waterproof, things like that, do come at a higher cost. So what you have to do is you have to evaluate whether the higher cost of that device will allow them to last longer, whether or not you're actually going to get the value out of that higher cost, or if you're better off buying less expensive devices that you just plan on replacing slightly more frequently. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. There's a few technical things, some more nuanced things as well that I'll mention, but really the three things you want to consider are the size of the screen, whether or not you want a touchscreen device, and then the durability of that device. The good news about Chromebooks is that similar to iPhones, iPads, they all run the same software. So they're all going to be identical once you turn them on. It's really those three factors that we discussed that'll give you the variations on the device. So I'm just going to grab a few devices. Now, I don't really want to focus on model names, brand names, because, brands and models, they come and go. They're changing constantly. I mean, if you ask me what my Chromebook recommendation is today, it might be different than it will be in 2 weeks from now. So I'm really kind of just showing you profiles of devices rather than recommending specific model numbers. I've worked closely with many different Chromebook device manufacturers: Acer, Dell, Samsung, Asus, HP. They all do a great job. All of them offer wonderful devices. There's not a single manufacturer that I would say stay away from Chromebooks from this brand. They all can be very good. You want to establish a relationship with them, and that can help with pricing as well. So let me just grab a few to talk about. The first one I'll get is just kind of a budget level Chromebook. This is an Acer. It's a few years old. Acer makes solid devices. They have a wide range of devices. You can get Acers in the sub 300, low 200s, all the way up from there. This will be a device to deploy through your entire district. You're looking at 279, 239. It's going to be less RAM, 2 gigs of RAM, not a touch screen, not super durable. This is a solid device. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got solid hinges. It's a plastic chassis, but it's very durable. So this would be a solid device, nothing fancy. Again, 239, 279, somewhere like that. This is a 11-inch screen, 11.2, something like that, which is a suitable size for middle school, high school students. I grab another one. This is a device from Asus. This is one of their flip devices. So this is an example of a touchscreen Chromebook that is also a convertible. So it can convert to a full tablet. It can go into like table tent mode or in the traditional laptop mode as well. This is a more durable device. It has a full aluminum construction, so it can withstand a few more bumps and bruises than some others. It is a smaller screen, so this is a 10.1-inch screen, which for me personally, it's far too small for me to use on a regular daily basis. I would be concerned with this device at the middle or high school level. I don't think it would be large enough for students to work effectively. At the elementary level, this could be a good device. It's lightweight, it's small, it'll fit on desk easily, it's easy to carry around as well. This device is going to come in at $379, $399, somewhere around there. Anytime you add touch screen to a device, you are going to see a little bit of a premium, somewhere between $40 and $65 will be added to include that touchscreen, which really, when you think about it, is pretty low to add touchscreen on. Most Chromebooks today will come as touch or standard. You get to choose. Not all, but most. I predict that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will begin seeing touch as a standard feature of all devices. It's not that expensive. And it really improves the learning when touch is an option. One thing you do want to consider when selecting a touchscreen device is you need to make sure that you're planning for repairs. Repairing a touchscreen is far more expensive than the initial purchase. So you want to factor that into your budget as you consider those device repairs. Moving on. I'm going to grab another one. So this is a Samsung device, and this is a non-touch, but it is a larger screen. This one's going to be a little more of a premium device. It's faster processor, more RAM. This would be a solid device for a middle or high school class where they're doing some video editing, working in more than just Google Docs. This one is not touchscreen. You can find devices similar to this very commonly from Lenovo and CTL. They're not super fancy. They don't, look real impressive, but they're solid devices. Typically a little more rugged design, but the internals are very, very solid. This is going to come in usually again around $300, $329, somewhere around that price point. Last one I'll show you is more of a premium Chromebook. This is the Samsung Chromebook Pro. This is the one that my wife typically uses. This is a solid device. It has more RAM than most devices. I think this one has 8 gigs of RAM. It is a touchscreen, and then it is also convertible as well. This device also has the added benefit of coming standard with a stylus, which docks right in here. That stylus can be used to input and draw on the screen, which is a nice option. This device here I would recommend for teachers and school administrators. You certainly could get it for students, but it is more of an expensive device. There's 2 models from Samsung. I think one is in the $400 range and the other is in the $579, somewhere around there range as well. So slightly more premium device, but you're going to get a lot of good performance out of it. It's a very high resolution screen. It's a pleasure to use this device. So for teachers, if they are using a Chromebook as their primary device, this is probably would be my recommendation today. There are several, companies that are making these more premium Chromebooks for professional use. You definitely want to purchase a Chromebook that is a step up if you're giving them to your teaching staff. They'll have a much better experience overall. So again, just to recap, 3 things that you want to consider as you're purchasing Chromebooks are the size of the screen. We go from something like the Asus here with a 10-inch screen, which is very, very small, up to the Samsung Pro, which has a 12-inch screen, which makes a very big difference if you're doing spreadsheets, video editing, graphic design style stuff. Second thing is a touch screen. I really would recommend considering touchscreen if you have it in your budget. I think it's going to open up a lot of interesting opportunities in the next 2 to 3 years. I think you're going to see explosion in touch-focused tools, especially in math and science classrooms. Devices like the Asus here have a touch. Acer, HP, Dell, pretty much every brand offers a touch option. Again, it's going to come in at a $60 to $70 premium, but I think it could be worth it. The third thing to consider is the durability of that device. We can go from something like the kind of bare bones Acer here, solid but not overly durable, up to the Samsung here, which definitely is a little more beefier, and then you'll even see more durable devices from companies like Lenovo, CTL, HP, specifically make durable devices for school environments. Those are the main things. After that, there's nuances with RAM, processor, stylus, pen input. Whether you want HDMI, USB-C inputs. Those are minor issues in my opinion compared with the three things that I've highlighted. Hopefully you have some helpful things to consider as you are purchasing your Chromebook. Good luck as you make your decision. I think you'll enjoy using Chromebooks in your school.